The Way of the Servant, Book 2. Servantship. It appears an odd word, yet within it lies the meaning of sacrifice, of love, of true being. What then can we say of sacrifice? The cloak of ignorance has been cast off, the darkness of a solitary thought dissolved in the simple brilliance of a light far brighter than 10,000 suns, and the soul of one who is seen through the vanity of useless wandering is again restored to a place from which it has not ever ventured forth. The Holy One is again become first, and sees that nowhere is there to be found a second. I am the firstborn of my Father, standing before all things, moving not, I travel far. Embracing all things, I touch myself. Creation arises within me. I am the first and the last, the Alpha and Omega. Fulfilled beyond all measure, I need nothing. Possessing the whole of creation, I desire nothing. That which has been, I am. That which is, I am. That which shall be, I am. Looking far, I behold not my ancient beginning. Gazing near, I see not my end. I am a circle of heavenly light, embracing all things, knowing all things, and allowing all things. My splendor fills the vastness of space and is contained between two thoughts. The wind is birthed from my holy breath, and carries my glory to all far places. I am the power by which all dreams are dreamt. I am the purpose of all actions performed. I am the way, the truth, and the life, and the whole of creation returns to the Father through me. I am the praying, the prayer, and the answer. I am the dream, the dreamer, and her awakening. I am the sin, the sinner, and the salvation. I am the vast ocean from which the dewdrop arises. I am the tear on the cheek of a newborn who brings me into form and time. I am the words before your eyes, the writer, and the one who even now reads. I am the one dreamer bold enough to imagine the illusion of separation, and the one worthy of releasing the allure of sleep. I am. Simply that, I am. It is this that the awakened sun proclaims, without a trace of thought to obscure the brilliance and purity of his being. She looks for herself and sees only the Father. He reaches to himself and embraces only the whole of creation. The glass, once filled with a momentary thought of imaginary sustenance, is again become the emptiness overflowing with living water. The holy chalice is raised to her lips. She drinks eternally and is satisfied. Herein is the meaning of sacrifice. Never has there ever existed what must be eternally unreal, and what is not can be neither lost nor sacrificed. What then would you cling so tightly unto? Servantship is that which arises when the death of what could never possibly be is irrevocably allowed. It is the perfect heritage extended from the Father to the Son, and is of one substance with the mystery that our Heavenly Father is. Servantship requires only the enactment of sacrifice, that sacrifice which is, from the beginning, already completed, the grace of God. Our choice to remember who we are is the enactment of that sacrifice already made in heaven. Sacrifice, when completed, gives rise to the birth of love, both unconditional and incomprehensible, a love which can only come to be truly recognized when any mind finally and irrevocably chooses to awaken from the senseless dream of the dreamer. It is not a love tainted by being directed to the objects of the world, nor felt only when a mind momentarily perceives a satisfaction born of the temporary organization of the objects and events it embraces. For no such love is truly unconditional. Therefore such love perceived is not love at all, but what arises is that self-same love that is already with us from before time is. The love from which the Son of God is birthed, the love which has already fulfilled the atonement required by the brief and meaningless thought of separation. It is that love which is the very presence of God, who is love itself, and only this. Love seeks not for itself, but finds its completion in its eternal and unreserved extension. It is a love enacted by the Son, which unceasingly mirrors the love by which the Father has begotten the Son. It is a love which gives when asked and holds nothing for itself. It is a love that embraces all things, for it sees no separation in the whole of creation. It is a love that touches all who behold it with a gentleness and certainty whose taste is sweet above honey. It quenches the thirst of the soul. And this, without effort, For it is a love that extends from and to true being. Seeing naught but the substance of what alone is real in all that its eyes rest upon, it severs with the sword of wisdom the stranglehold of illusion from the heart of the one who beholds the person of the arisen Christ. It is not a love to be created, but a love that has finally been allowed, rising without resistance from the soil of perfect surrender. The dreamer, vanquished and reborn, decries, I live, yet not I, but Christ dwells as me. And the Word is made flesh, and dwells among us, in the world, but not of the world. For the world is overcome not by effort but by grace, the simple correction of one mistaken perception. Who then is the servant? What is she likened unto? The servant is free, no longer fettered to the tiny fears once seen as unscalable walls reaching to block the light of the sun. He loves not the things of the world, for they hold no value. The servant is humble, no longer fettered to the false arrogance that once was made to shield her from her aloneness. She clings not to false knowledge, for she knows that she does not know, nor does she need to. Trusting all things, allowing all things, she transcends all things by first loving and embracing all things, and their passing leaves not a trace upon her. The servant is capable. With no anxiety for the things of tomorrow, he enacts the incomprehensible love of the Father in this moment. Innocent as a child, he considers not limitation, for he sees with certainty that, the works I do, you also shall do, and greater works than these shall ye do. He knows simply that himself he does nothing, but the Father through him does all things. Where could incapacity arise? Emptied of herself, the servant effortlessly dons the cloak given her of the Father. Whether the cloak of this world or another, she moves freely between heaven and earth, rejoicing always as the embodiment of prayer without ceasing. Holy Father, now there is light. The servant is likened unto one who has journeyed to a distant land, for his master had commanded him, Go and share with all who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Give to them of my abundance, and give freely. Now when the servant heard, she went immediately forth, and was found from waking to sleeping to be doing as her master had asked. And it came to pass that many who received secretly laughed at the folly of the servant. Many thought him mad, and many more either lost or discarded what he shared with them. Only a few, having heard, received what was given to them, and went and did likewise. For in their hearing they became like the servant, and what they gave away was returned to them tenfold. So joyous in her task was the servant that she could hear not the judgment of the small-minded. Will you choose to have ears to hear? The servant is one who has transcended history. Quite literally, she looks upon her past and sees it indeed as having passed away, dissolved as mist before the rising sun from deep and forested valleys. Not one dark corner remains in the valley of the mind, cut in shape by the forces of limiting thought. Rivers of radiant light flow unimpeded now, emanating from the ocean of God's love, cascading waterfalls of vision that embrace the whole of creation. Though disguised in simplicity, the servant sees his every loving gesture touching the farthest star, and participating in the miracle of the atonement. The servant always recognizes his own. Herein is revealed the true body of Christ. The mystical church, which far transcends the loftiest of theologies, herein is revealed the essence of brotherhood. The servant seeks out her own and celebrates with them without ceasing, for awakened minds are eternally joined as one. The servant is gentle, clinging not to what is not given her to do, neither anger nor impatience arises. The servant trusts, embraces all things, having given the world up to his Father. He is content in this moment. The whole is present in the part, and the part embraces the whole. Forgetting not heaven, he blesses earth, and even his smile illuminates the world. With nothing to do, she does nothing. With all things to do, she accomplishes all things, yet sees not a trace of distinction between these. The servant is at peace, but more, he is peace. Receiving doubt, he returns love. Receiving judgment, she returns love. Receiving the projection of fear, he returns love. Receiving love not yet made wholly pure, she returns love. Receiving love given purely, he allows himself to receive it. Abiding in unbroken union with God, she receives love without ceasing. Though the world gives and takes away, his cup is always filled. He drinks deeply with every breath. Satiated, he laughs at the world's illusions, and his laughter heals the world. The servant is simply incomprehensible to the perception of the world. For where the world perceives lack, the servant knows unlimited abundance. Where the world perceives struggle, the servant knows perfect harmony. Where the world perceives the pressure of time, the servant knows the grace of eternity. No reconciliation is possible, for the things of heaven and earth shall pass away, but the things of God shall not. And the first, made so by the world, shall be last. The last, being the creation of God, shall again be made first in the mind of the awakened, joyous servant of God, who is but love. As it was in the beginning, is now, and forever shall be. What then can the qualities of genuine service be likened unto? Observe the waters that flow from the highest mountains, winding, cascading, twisting, churning, resting inevitably into the sea. Their destination is neither hoped for nor imagined. It is known, resting always in certainty. And once the journey has begun, the end is certain. The river begins as but a drop of rain that falls from the heavens freely given. It forms itself in places unseen, and is shaped into a constant flow that is not interrupted. Seemingly shaped by the earth it touches, it becomes the shaper of waterfalls and canyons. And what river of living waters does not speak of beauty to its beholder? The river nurtures all that it touches with the very sustenance of life. It recognizes not obstacles to its journey, but by embracing them overcomes them. Even the sound of its passing brings respite to those who listen. It laments not when one draws from it, seemingly without gratitude, for it knows its source to be unlimited. The secret of its peace and of its certain power is this: it already abides at one with the sea, having arisen from it, and returning always to it. No veil of illusion has arisen in its being to create a sense of separation. Therefore its journey begin in its certain end. Let your service be given like unto the rivers of life that flows from the highest mountains to the sea. Think not you must know the nature of the journey, nor that you must judge whether the twists and turns are acceptable. For unto you there is given the gift of one teacher, whose guidance never errs. His voice is certain, his presence eternal. Have I not said unto you, I will send you a Comforter? Yet the one whom I send was received by me of our Father. Because I have received him, he is given unto you equally. Like an ancient melody, his voice is of a gentle song, at once familiar. Silence is the threshold that carries the heart to the inner chamber of the Holy One. To give truly, one must give all they have. For to give while holding one part back is to believe one has not all things. And to she who believes she has not, much will be taken. While to she who knows she has all, even more shall be added. And her giving shall be unlimited and without end. She who gives all, receives all. The true servant gives even this, all trace of attachment to the fruit of her giving, for her giving is already seen to be from the Father, and so the fruits are given to her. Thus the servant proclaims, Why do you call me good? There is only one who is good, God, who is but love. And if you would truly receive what I would give you, go and do likewise. Here again, he who gives all, receives all. The servant gives as he has been given, but remembers it not. Caring not for the accolades of the world, he collects no ribbons and keeps no trophy. But the face of Christ, seen in each he serves, is etched in his awareness forever. He remembers them and gives thanks to the Father, for the servant lives the simplest of truth. My brothers and sisters are my salvation. The servant knows she fixes nothing. See not a fearful world, she does not deliver it from evil. Looking not upon illness, she calls not herself a healer. Herein learn the secret of the miraculous. The servant does nothing save to extend love to the Christ who dwells in another. Having learned to see past the appearance out of the world, and the one who is ill recognizes that the servant has recognized her as she is, and decrees, I am seen as I am, and release my illusion now. Love heals, and love alone. Those unaccustomed to miracles run after the servant, asking, How do you do these things? To which the servant replies, Love has done these things, Of myself, I only ask that my Father correct my perception of you. Love will flow through any mind that asks for and allows the correction of its perception. How then does the servant serve? By being only the presence of love. The extension of love, untainted by the thought of a doer, is the quality of genuine service, a reflection in this world of the love which begets eternally the holy and only begotten child of God. End of Book 2.